child with substantial injuries.
That's scary, and these are adults.
Winners of over $3 million.
It's once in a lifetime.
A lot of lives were changed in just a split second.
Well, Happy New Year. Welcome to the News 12 2018 Year in Review. It's a special look back at the year that was in local news.
Over the next half hour, we'll bring you the top Texoma stories from the past year as decided by you. These are the most clicked on local stories from 2018. And we're going to begin with a strange story from this past summer, a stabbing at a Sherman movie theater all over assigned seating.
Here's News 12's Kristen Weaver with her report from July 11th.
Tammy Owens took her 4- and 8-year-old grandchildren to see Jurassic World Friday night.
We went to eat and went to the movies.
But when they got to the theater, she noticed the large police presence.
Then we saw the patient rolled out and could tell there was bandages. And they just had told us it was a medical emergency.
We actually had an officer working at the movie theater. He was approached telling him somebody had been stabbed in the theater.
Sherman Police Sergeant Brett Mullen says Brian Morrison simply wouldn't sit in his reserved seat. After moving from seat to seat, he finally sat down in Terry Honor's reserved spot, and Honor asked him to move. A complaint states Morrison moved but walked past Honor and his wife, commenting, "I should be able to sit where I want." Honor asked if there was a problem.
And that led to a physical fight, and during the fight, the suspect stabbed the victim in the abdomen.
Morrison ran off.
And my concern now is I didn't know if he had left the building or had he been hiding in the theater we were in. And had he been hiding in that theater we were in, then that puts my family in danger.
And the movie they were there to watch? The First Purge, a horror film where people get 12 hours to commit any crime they want.
Kind of ironic, given the nature of the film, that a stabbing occurred in that theater.
Police found Morrison walking down the street next to his house on Cleveland and Mulberry Tuesday night. He was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Owen says she won't be taking her grandkids to a movie anytime soon.
For a while, I'm not going back.
That was Kristen Weaver reporting. Police say they plan to present the case to the district attorney soon. The man stabbed was not seriously hurt.
Well, next, tragedy struck the Bonham community when a former football star player drowned while swimming with friends.
Here's Kristen Weaver again from May 28th.
Tell all those kids in Bonham, to take care of each other, love each other. The message here is we've got to look out for each other. This was an accident. Nobody wanted this to happen.
Melissa police say 18-year-old Xavion Epps and his 6 friends found this abandoned rock pit full of water in Melissa Sunday night. They jumped in the water around 6, but Epps began to panic and went under. Crews found his body about 4 hours later.
X is the type of guy that you're going to know he's in the room. He's going to command the room.
Tony Johnson coached Epps, who he called X, at Bonham High School in football for 2 years. The two had a close bond.
X and his brother Isaiah are great kids, smart kids. Their mom's done a phenomenal job raising them. And I couldn't ask for 2 better football players to help us what we considered turning the program around because we made the playoffs that year.
Epps graduated in 2017 and signed to play at Southeastern, something Johnson says he had always dreamed of.
Man, what a great kid, and he did. He got a college scholarship to Southeastern, and we were so proud for him to get that and go up there and complete his freshman year this year. But just the life of the party, life of the room.
Johnson spoke with Epps just 2 weeks ago and tells those grieving to cherish his spirit and grasp on to the good memories.
And so I know they're hurting, and I just want to my love and condolences out to the family. I'm there for them, and they know that. But I choose to hold X's memory of his laughter and his competitiveness and his spirit in my heart.
In Melissa, Kristen Weaver, News 12.
Well, in October, a young Calera mother lost her life in an accident that also left her 2 young daughters injured.
Here's Stan Smith's report from October 30th.
Calera police say Mindy Brock was trying to turn across Highway 75 here when a southbound semi hit the driver's side of her SUV on Monday night.
A lot of lives were changed in just a split second last night.
Police say the semi driver, who was not injured, told officers his light was green when the crash happened.
For reasons unknown, turned into the path of a southbound SUV and semi. The SUV, a larger SUV, missed them, and the semi made contact with the driver.
Hyde says Brock's 2 girls, ages 9 and 10, were inside the car and were both taken to a Dallas hospital, where one remains in critical condition. The other child is also still in the hospital and is expected to survive.
It's overwhelming to us, but more importantly to the family and all that's taken place to them.
Calera police spent Tuesday morning reconstructing the scene on the intersection of Main Street and Highway 75. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation is planning to spend $120 million to elevate Highway 75 going through Calera, eliminating the stoplights. The project will start in the spring. The two children are students at Calera Elementary School. There were counselors on hand for students and teachers. Brock was 27 years old, and she lived in Calera.
That's what our focus is here as public safety officials in Calera, is that helping our community, as we've done all too often, and help get back on the right track.
An account has been set up online to help pay for her family's funeral and medical expenses, and you can find that link online on our website and app. In Calera, Stan Smith, News 12.
Since the crash, the Calera community has rallied around the Brock family. A fundraiser was held last month for Ramey and Maddie. Ramey went home from the hospital after a week with plates and screws in her left leg and a cast on her right leg and is starting rehab soon. Maddie has a longer road to recovery ahead. She remains in a Dallas hospital.
Up next, a monster catch when our News 12 2018 year in review continues.
Welcome back. This spring, two fishermen reeled in the catch of a lifetime on Lake Texoma, a monster alligator gar.
Here's News 12's Rachel Knapp with her report from May 30th.
Hundreds of yards off the shoreline of McLaughlin Creek here in Marshall County is where two Texomans say they reeled in one of their biggest catches from Lake Texoma.
It was once in a lifetime.
Canton Stafford grew up in Medill and has fished here since he was a toddler. And after spending hours on the lake over the weekend, he and his cousin hooked a 6-foot, 2-inch fish.
We just threw bait out there on a hook. We wasn't using no weight or anything because we thought, man, something big is going to come along and take this big of a bait. And, well, it did. A big old 91-pound alligator gar.
Stafford says that was the easy part, but it was just the beginning.
It took all the line off the reel 2 times. Finally landed it when it got tired.
We're told gator gars are not uncommon to the area. And this isn't even the biggest fish caught in Lake Texoma.
The largest one for Lake Texoma was 254 pounds, so they do get a lot bigger.
Compared to this 2-week-old gator gar, at just a few inches, researchers say the 6-footer Stafford caught could be up to 20 years old. Gabe Morton say the gator gars don't reproduce every year like most fish. So if you catch one, they want to know about it.
You're supposed to call and check in a alligator gar when you harvest one, and the reasoning behind that is we don't know a lot about these fish, and the more info we can gather on them, the better the population is going to sustain.
The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation has the fish's head for research, but Stafford has the rest, about 75 pounds of edible meat.
Stafford says he's coming back and hopes to catch even bigger fish. Reporting in Marshall County, Rachel Knapp, News 12.
Well, this fall, a Denison couple was arrested accused of starving their 12-year-old son to death.
Police say they found the boy so malnourished, he had to be rushed to a Dallas hospital where he died 5 days later. Here's Kristen Weaver's story from October 25th.
Police say the couple lived on this home on Woodard Street in Denison. The two were accused of injuring and malnourishing their 12-year-old son to the point that may have caused his death. Pam McEwen lives on Woodard Street near the home where the couple was arrested. She says she saw the children a few times.
They were always so polite, and they were always out here walking the dog.
The boys' parents, John and Jennifer Arndt, were in court Wednesday for a custody hearing on their other 3 children, all under the age of 12. Who are now in custody of Child Protective Services. That's when investigators arrested them for causing injury to a child and endangering a child.
The mom she was so mean. She would yell at them and cuss at them, and I knew something was going on.
Police say the investigation started less than 2 weeks ago when they got a report from CPS.
We were contacted October 12th by Children's Protective Services about a child that had been brought to TMC, emergency room, with substantial injuries.
Lieutenant Mike Epler with Denison Police says the 12-year-old boy had serious injuries and signs of being starved.
The child was treated locally and then was taken to Children's Medical Center in Dallas, where on October 17th he was pronounced deceased.
McEwen says the kids were always home and it didn't seem like they went to school.
They were always so pleasant, and I never saw them cry, but they looked like they hadn't been bathed in a while. I don't think they were malnourished from what we could tell from over here. I think they kept to themselves for the most part.
A nearby grocery store confirms the father was an employee there.
Heart breaks for them.
Both of their bonds were set at $750,000. Their other children are in CPS custody. Reporting in Denison, Kristen Weaver, News 12.
A grand jury indicted John and Jennifer Arndt in October for child abuse and endangerment. Both remain in the Grayson County Jail. They face up to life in prison if they're convicted.
Up next, scandal rocks a small Texas school district, and when which bathroom a teen uses becomes the talk of the town. When News 12, the Year in Review, rolls on. Welcome back. Well, scandal rocked the small Cook County town of Munster this fall when a high school teacher was arrested, accused of having sex with 2 students.
Here's Stan Smith's report from October 19th.
They are adults and they need to act like it.
According to arrest warrants, 32-year-old former Munster high school teacher Lynn Burge started by sending nude pictures of herself on Snapchat to a 16-year-old male student last fall. Burge and the student went backroading and drank alcohol together before Burge took the student to her house and performed oral sex and sexual intercourse on him. In March, Burge did the same routine with an 18-year-old adult student. Shocking news in this normally quiet Cook County town.
You send your kids to school every day hoping that they're being taken care of and not being taken advantage of.
The Department of Family and Protective Services received an anonymous tip about Burge in September. After a month-long investigation, a Texas Ranger held an informal interview with Burge last week at the Texas State Fair, where she was a chaperone on a school field trip. Burge admitted to the Ranger she had sex with the 18-year-old and to swapping nudes with the 16-year-old. She also confessed to drinking and backroading with, then waking up to the 16-year-old, but told the Ranger she couldn't remember if they'd had sex. A Munster ISD representative says Burge resigned last week. She was arrested Thursday. Burge is married and has 2 children.
What are they, what's going on after school? They should not be giving out phone numbers and, email addresses are fine, but there should not be, this exchange on that personal level. There's a professional border that you have to keep there between your students and yourself.
Burge posted a $125,000 bond Friday. She faces up to 50 years in prison if convicted on all counts. In Munster, Stan Smith, News 12.
Well, back at the start of the school year, the eyes of Texoma and the nation turned to a small Bryan County town when adults made threats on social media to harm a 12-year-old actually transgender girl.
News 12's Kristen Weaver spoke to the girl's mother. Here's her report from August 13th.
Ashley schools just reopened their middle school here on Wednesday. It was the 7th graders' first day of school. That's when these parents started making threats all over social media.
She's been living as female for years, and so she started actually living as Maddie, and we had no problems when we first started.
12-year-old Ashley ISD transgender student Maddie's mother, Brandy Rose, says her family moved to Bryan County from Sherman when Maddie was in 5th grade. Trouble started when Maddie was accused by another student of peeping under a bathroom stall.
My daughter leans very far forward to use the bathroom, and so I can understand why someone might see her leaning forward as, oh my gosh, she's trying to look under the stall.
Maddie didn't get in trouble, but started using the staff bathroom and had been doing that for 2 years. That is, until the first day of school Wednesday in the new building.
Before she was able to be told where the staff bathroom was, she had to pee, and she used the girls' bathroom one single time.
One parent found out and took to a private Ashley Facebook group to complain. That's where the threats started. Adults called Maddie by it and thing. Some said she should be stabbed or beat up. One even suggested it was open hunting season for transgender people.
That's scary, and these are adults making threats to a child. I don't understand it.
Rose tells us her usually upbeat and positive daughter is afraid for her life.
She's just an awesome kid, and to see any kind of fear in her like that, because other people, and especially adults, I can't explain how bad that hurts me.
The sheriff's office says the investigation is still ongoing, but they're taking everything very seriously. Ashley ISD should reopen its doors on Wednesday. Reporting in Ashley, Kristen Weaver, News 12.
And 2 weeks after that report, Maddie and her family were featured on an episode of HBO's Vice News Tonight, in which her parents stated the family would be moving out of Ashley to the Houston, Texas area.
Coming up next, the top 3 Texoma stories of 2018 when the News 12 Year in Review returns. Welcome back. This summer, a Dallas man beat the odds, 1 in 33 million, to win $3 million on a $3 bet, the largest jackpot ever won at the Choctaw Casino.
And it was his first time ever to step foot in the place. Here's News 12 Stan Smith's report from July 23rd.
It was at this megabuck slot machine at the Choctaw Casino where someone just put in $3 and came away winners of over $3 million.
The winner of the Megabucks slot machine visited the Choctaw Casino for the first time last weekend, and on his very first bet on this machine, his life changed forever when he won a $3.2 million jackpot. Elam Lang is also here for the first time, but not so lucky.
I'm a little jealous. I mean, you could probably get a lot of ladies with that kind of money, so.
Other gamblers like Albert Hernandez, who has been going to Choctaw for years, was impressed somebody beat the odds to win.
Especially since we come over here a lot and we don't win anything. But for somebody to win $3 million, and that's pretty good.
The Megabucks slot machine is considered a wide area progressive machine, meaning it's a continually mounting jackpot that is not only drawn from players at Choctaw Casino, but from other casinos across the country. Marketing manager of Choctaw Casino and Resort, Sarah Adams, says someone won $1 million last month, but no one has ever reached this high of a jackpot.
We've had a few $1 million ones. We had one that was a little over $2 million, but $3.18 million, that's definitely the most.
As for Hernandez, he says he'll keep trying to reach the $3 million prize, but today he's going home with this, 10 cents.
Good news for anyone who wants to try their luck at the Megabucks slot machine. The top prize is back up to $3 million. Reporting in Durant, Stan Smith, News 12.
Well, this summer, tragedy struck when a car and semi collided on the Roosevelt Bridge, leaving that car in flames and the semi through the guardrail and into Lake Texoma, killing both drivers.
Here's Rachel Knapp's report from June 22nd.
The Roosevelt Bridge, a popular route to get between Bryan and Marshall counties, is now swamped with first responders after a semi and car collided Thursday afternoon.
The car ended up bursting into flames on the bridge deck, and the semi went off the south side of the bridge into approximately 50 foot of water.
Troopers say both drivers died at the scene. The truck driver remains in the cab at the bottom of the lake. We're told he was hauling paint for Sherwin-Williams.
As soon as recovery of the driver is made, we're going to shift gears to trying to make recovery of the semi, and that will that could be a pretty large process in and of itself.
A representative with the EPA says crews are still cleaning up debris from the crash.
Crews are out right now picking up floating buckets and that kind of stuff. We're doing additional booming to be sure everything is contained.
The EPA tells us the booms in place have helped contain the paint and any diesel that may have spilled into the lake from spreading. And as of now, the toxicity threat is low.
It appears to be a low threat to the fish. The biggest threat is people driving through the boats and not respecting our booms and stuff like that.
And as for the structure of the bridge,
we're also repairing this guardrail here, or the safety rail, to make sure it's safe to the public.
Crews tell us after the semi is out of the way, they will check the bridge underneath the water to make sure it's safe again.
In our 8-year construction plan, we don't have any plans to rebuild or replace or widen this bridge. Of course, speed limit's always a factor. We will probably look at the speed on this bridge and see if it's appropriate.
And it took officials 5 days to recover that semi-truck and the body of its driver from the lake. He was later identified as 54-year-old John Bosch of Oakwood, Texas. The car's driver was 59-year-old Adrian Pinkney of Kingston. The Roosevelt Bridge was closed for about a week until it was inspected and deemed safe for traffic. Troopers say the crash remains under investigation. Well, back in May, a pack of dogs attacked and killed an Ardmore woman. It captured headlines across the globe.
Here's News 12's Crystal Martinez with a report from May 14th and our top local story of 2018.
Carter County Sheriff Chris Bryant says 52-year-old Tracy Garcia was attacked and killed by a neighbor's dogs near her home on Banyan Road outside Ardmore Thursday night. Deputies shot and killed one dog that charged at them. They took the other 6 to the Westwood Veterinarian Hospital to be put down at the owner's request. The dogs were then sent to the Ardmore Animal Shelter.
There were 7 dogs, 3 were females, 4 of them were males. They all ranged from probably to a year to about 3 years.
The shelter's euthanasia technician Amanda Dinwiddie says 6 of the dogs are believed to be standard Dachshund and Terrier mix. 1 is believed to be a Border Collie mix, none weighing more than 40 pounds and taller than knee-high.
The predominant breed in these dogs is definitely standard Dachshunds. They have really noticeable characteristics like their knobby legs, knees, very short-legged dogs, and their coats.
Dinwiddie says the dogs were infested with fleas and ticks but didn't have any other visible health concerns.
We were cleaning ticks off of ourselves all day. They are very, very covered. You can tell that they had been living out in the woods.
The vet hospital says the animals won't be tested for rabies, a decision Dinwiddie understands.
If there was any, possible issue of them had biting somebody else, then it would have been, but the dogs are deceased as well as the victim, so there's just no reason to go spend the thousands and thousands of dollars.
Sheriff Chris Bryant says the attack is still under investigation and will be turned over to the district attorney's office for review. In Ardmore, Crystal Martinez, News 12.
Well, no criminal charges were filed in Garcia's death, which was ruled an accident. Medical examiner's report stated she died from injuries sustained when she was attacked by a pack of 7 dogs, all weighing less than 40 pounds. That report also said her blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit to drive. All right, that's going to do it for us for 2018, our year in review.
From our family to yours, we wish you a very happy, safe, and prosperous new year. Look forward to serving you again in 2019.
Thanks for watching.